We chant the four great bodhisattva vows. Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to help them all. Delusions are countless. We vow to see through them all. Opportunities to awaken are infinite. We vow to embrace them all. The Buddha way is endless. We vow to embody it. We'll start with 15 minutes of seated meditation. I posted a link in the chat for those of you on Zoom if you want to download or view the chants. It's there for you to click on. We chant the Gatha on opening the sutras. This Dharma, incomparably profound and minutely subtle, is rarely encountered, even in hundreds of thousands of millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, hold and maintain it. May we completely realize the true mind of all Buddhas. Well, greetings, everyone. Glad you could join us this evening. When I first started practicing Zen seriously in, I don't know, it was a while ago now. Anyway, and joined my first Sangha. It was a place in New Jersey called Monmouth Zen Circle, and it was in the orbit of the San Francisco Zen Center. It was a Soto Sangha, and as such, Dogen was like, you know, in the pantheon of Zen greats. So there was something that Dogen had written, I believe, and again, it's going back a ways and my memory may not serve me properly, but there was something about the conditions, the environment of the meditation hall and what's the optimum scenario for that. And in Monmouth, we had dim lights, not totally dark, but dim. And the altar with the candles and the incense and the usual things you'd find in a Zen meditation hall. And there was a scroll on the wall, as one would expect. And it being a Soto Sangha, we faced the wall. And as mundane as it might sound in retrospect, although not to me, because I think it's still the coolest thing going, but to you it might seem mundane. One of the first great realizations that I had was when I was sitting there on my cushion and the lights were dim and I'm staring at the wall, and I notice that my eyelids and the shadowy wall were exactly the same color. Like I couldn't tell where one started and the other one began, or started and stopped. There was no differentiation between eyelid and wall at that point. And I thought that was just the most brilliant thing I had ever experienced. And it quite possibly was, considering some of the experiences I've had. It was definitely top of the list, let's say. So you may have noticed that my meditation room here in the Hermitage, which is a hermitage basically because it's a room where I meditate in solitude because there's this pandemic, you see, and face-to-face contact and getting a whole lot of people sitting in a single room was frowned upon with good reason. So you can see, glancing around, it's not particularly dark here. And you may also hear the roar of traffic outside my window. I'm here in Western Massachusetts on one of the 4 main east-west routes in the state. And especially as you get out to Western Mass, there are fewer and fewer choices. So I'm on one of them, and it's got a fair amount of traffic. Usually lightens up in the evening some, like there are fewer semi trucks coming down the road and testing their brakes as they come down the hill. And much as how the robins and other birds have flown, migrated, headed south, along with them have gone the motorcycles. So we don't really have that many motorcycles at this point. However, there's still a lot of vehicular traffic, you might say. And if you pay attention, you will probably hear some of that as we go along. So my meditation room is neither dark nor particularly quiet. It's definitely like 179 degrees away from how things were when I was sitting in Long Branch, New Jersey with the Monmouth Zen Circle. And that's okay. There were a number of things that struck me going from Soto practice to San practice. One Mind Zen is in the lineage of Sung San and Thich Thien An, who's a Korean and Vietnamese teachers that were in the lineage of. And when I first stumbled upon Original Mind Zen down in Princeton, New Jersey, I thought, great, I don't have to drive an hour and a half to go meditate anymore because I'm like 5 minutes away from this place. So that will be really cool. So I went there one Sunday night and I met Andre Tyson Halal, who was the guiding teacher at Original Mind. And he and I have been teacher and student for ages now, probably 10, 12 years or something like that. And when I first started sitting with Original Mind, it was kind of weird because rather than facing the wall like you would in a Soto setting, or even facing across like you would in a Rinzai setting, we sat facing forward toward the altar. And the walking meditation was different, like it wasn't how I was used to doing it. So immediately at that point, my mind started thinking, these guys are a bunch of heretics. They don't know how to practice Zen. And eventually it came to the point where I slowly realized that just as my eyelids and the wall had no delineation between them, so too did Zen practice. Zen practice has nothing to do with the number of foot candles in your environment, nor does it have anything to do with the decibel level of the ambient sound while you're meditating. Zen practice doesn't even have all that much to do with meditation when you get down to it. What it does have to do with is realizing your true nature from moment to moment to moment. Now we sit on a cushion and we meditate, face out, face across, face forward, whatever it is, in order to gain some insight into our minds, to give ourselves a little bit of a break from the traffic and the lights and work and, children and spouses and all the other things that can interfere with self-reflection. We give ourselves a little break and we just sit on a cushion and meditate. Sometimes we'll just observe the breath. A lot of people, when they start by counting breaths, like 1 on the exhale, 2 on the inhale, 3 on the exhale, and so on, up to 10. And then I would always tell people that when you hit 15, don't become discouraged. Just go back to 1 and try and pay more attention this time, and hit 10 and then start at 1 again. Don't beat yourself up. Drop it, let it go. Other people chant softly to themselves. I've been known to chant Namu Amita Bol, Na on one exhale, Mu on the inhale, and so on. Other people just sit. They maybe don't even pay attention to their breaths, let alone count them. They're aware of their mind. They're aware of their surroundings. They're aware of their body. They're aware of the delineation being kind of fuzzy and gray between things. Even here in my bright and loud meditation room, I still can't quite, when I have my eyes half shut, can't quite tell where my eyelids end and the blurry stuff kind of starts. It's kind of veiled. I know it's there because I can perceive that something is there, but the actual delineation of eyelid, other stuff isn't really there. And that's another one of those revelations that perhaps we can all have, is that as we go through our daily lives, we can look and say to ourselves, where does the wind stop and the sky begin? Where does the air stop and the pores in my skin begin? What's that actual hard delineation? Where is the actual concrete delineation between one page in the chant book and the next? When they're in contact with each other, are all the little fibers of one page intermingling with the others? When we see our true nature, we can see that the differences between me and you, me and the chair, the air and the wind and the sky, they're all kind of fuzzy. So maybe then, rather than being dualistic and creating boundaries where there really aren't any, we should perhaps see that an injury to one is an injury to all, to use a phrase that I'm borrowing. That when I lie to you, I am not doing myself any service by doing things like that. It's all gray. The eyelid, the wall. Where does one start and the other one end? We'll go back for 15 minutes of seated meditation. We'll chant the Heart Sutra. Mahaprajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, when practicing deeply the Prajna Paramita, perceives that all five skandhas are empty and is saved from all suffering and distress. Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. That which is form is emptiness. That which is emptiness, form. The same is true of feelings, perceptions, impulses, consciousness. Shariputra, all dharmas are marked with emptiness. They do not appear or disappear, are not tainted or pure, do not increase or decrease. Therefore in emptiness, no form, no feelings, perceptions, impulses, consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no color, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of eyes, and so forth, until no realm of mind consciousness, no ignorance, and also no extinction of it, and so forth, until no old age and death, and also no extinction of them, no suffering, no origination, no stopping, no path, no cognition, also no attainment, with nothing to attain. The bodhisattva depends on prajna paramita, and the mind is no hindrance. Without any hindrance, no fears exist. Far apart from every perverted view, one dwells in nirvana. In the three worlds, all Buddhas depend on prajna paramita and attain anuttara samyak sambodhi. Therefore know that prajna paramita is the great transcendent mantra, is the great bright mantra, is the utmost mantra, is the supreme mantra, which is able to relieve all suffering and is true, not false. So proclaim the prajna paramita mantra. Proclaim the mantra which says gate gate para gate parasamgate bodhi swaha, gate gate para gate parasamgate bodhi swaha, gate gate para gate parasamgate bodhi swaha. Since it's the full moon in October here, I thought we could do something about cleansing our karma, as is traditionally done. If you have the chant sheet, please follow along, chant yourself. This moment I repent from the serious transgressions of taking any life, taking things not given, misconduct done in lust, false speech, taking intoxicants to produce heedlessness, discussing the faults of others, praising my own works, clinging and stinginess, wrathful anger, slandering the whole three jewels. May all offenses accumulated during hundreds of eons now be totally consumed in an instant as fire burns dry grass, extinguishing all things until nothing remains. Our offenses have no self-nature, but arise only from our minds. If our minds are extinguished, then our offenses too will be destroyed. When both our minds and our offenses are extinguished, and both are seen as empty, this is termed the true repentance. Life and death are of supreme importance. Time passes swiftly by, and opportunities to awaken are easily lost. Strive to realize your true nature. Do not squander your time by night or day.